Namaste and welcome to Live, Love, Engage. I am Gloria Grace Rand, and today we're going to be talking about business, spirituality, meditation, and money. And joining me on the program today is someone who has a lot of experience in those areas. His name is Daniel John Hanneman. So first off, welcome to Live, Love, Engage, Daniel.
Thank you, Gloria. I'm so glad to be here today. It's very exciting to be on your show today.
Well, we appreciate having you here, and let me share with our listeners and those of you viewing on YouTube what Daniel's background is. He's actually got an extensive one as a professional counselor, certified hypnotherapist, with combined business and professional backgrounds in energy scanning, energy clearing, spiritual life coaching, intuitive business coaching, channeling, metaphysics, religious science, hypnosis, psychology, motivational techniques, and personal business development systems. He's not a slacker, in case you're thinking that. So definitely not. And not only that, he's also an author from a best-selling book series. He co-authored the book Wake Up, Live the Life You Love, Living in Abundance, which featured such internationally renowned legends like Tony Robbins, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and Dr. Michael Beckwith. And he's also the creator of the Your Sacred Purpose, that is unleashing the hidden greatest potential within world-changing empaths, healers, and spiritual entrepreneurs by loving all of themselves, including their full power, their greatest gifts, their truest purpose, and the ability to deepen the awakening of consciousness on the planet, all while enjoying profound money success. Because let's face it, money does make the world go round, and it also makes it easier to be able to give. You know, people think that, having money sometimes is a bad thing, but the more money you have, the more you can actually spread around. So since you've got this amazing career with all of these vast different tools, I guess, in your background, the tools that you use, how did you even get interested in doing all these different things?
Yeah, good question. Well, I started off in my life. I'm more of a shy, introverted person by my first nature, I would say. And then, like a lot of introverts, I become extroverted once I get the stage, right? Like,
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready to talk. Listen to me. All right, here we go.
I can
So,
relate.
yeah, so that's how I was as a kid. Though there was no, here I am. Let's go. Let's talk. There was none of that. I was just more just quiet, and so from that place, I experienced a lot of love of other people and all that stuff, and I just remember feeling so funny. I don't know if this really answers your question, but I'm gonna get there. But just silly little things like this. Like I used to have girlfriends when I was like 4 years old. I had a girlfriend. Like I was doing things that kids don't do at those ages, right? So I it was really weird. And then I had two girlfriends, when I was like 9 or something like that. Like it was crazy, like the way a 9-year-old would have his girlfriend, right?
Yes.
But it was serious at the time. It was serious.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like but then still there was this shy aspect of myself, and different things came up for me as I got into the teenage years, right? So first at 11, I almost died. I mean, I got ran over by a trailer. I
Oh
was
my
with my
gosh.
dad. And, like, I wasn't showing up. I wasn't speaking up for myself because I was picking up grass pilings, put them on the back of a dump truck. There was a trailer behind. I went to jump off because when they went in the truck, started moving. I was like, oh, I freaked out. I jumped under the trailer. So that's the fast version of the story.
Oh
I'm trying
boy.
to get to the fullness to your question here. But the truth is I wasn't showing up. I wasn't speaking up. And that continued through high school. I was even called Mr. Invisible, and I wasn't dating anybody then. Then I went the other route. Like I wouldn't get near a girl. I wouldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and part of that too was my sister got pregnant. My sister got pregnant, and the dad didn't want anything to do with her. And I vowed, at that time, and it was during that time, when I was going, in high school, I was like, that's it. I will not be that. And I did everything I could to not be that, and I went to an extreme. So, but I had a lot of anxiety and depression, and I wanted to, and I always just felt like there's so much more to life than what people are perceiving or talking about or usually delving into. I did
Mm.
have those feelings. I didn't really investigate them a whole lot other than do a lot of my own private journaling and trying to figure life out on my own. Then I got into, so I did creative writing. I was trying to express myself. I get into psychology in college
Mm.
to try to figure again people out. Like, why
Right.
are we acting so strange and weird, and why do people have all the issues they have? So I
Mm.
did that, and then after I got done with that, I was like, I'm bored. I want to go into sales. So I went into sales after I did copier sales for a few years. Did hundreds of cold calls per week.
Wow.
And that was incredible for someone like myself, right? Coming out of my bubble.
Yeah.
And then from there, then I knew that wasn't really my path, even though I was very recognized for my persistence.
Mm.
I didn't have the greatest sales, but I was really good at convincing my employers I'm meant to be here, So, man, did they buy me, but then it's just like, okay, I'm going back to school. I got a master's in clinical psychology,
Mm.
and there I was misunderstood. Like that's kind of part of my story. Like a lot of
Mhm.
people probably listening here, not understood. My teachers actually held me back a year from going on and moving on with my master's, and
Mm.
they say, yeah, I got to do remediation in these areas. Man, you're a savant at tuning into people, or they call it assessment, right? We do
Mm.
assessments on people.
Right.
Boy, we don't know how you could do so well with that. My classmates would flock to me and with their cases and stuff, and I'm like, I didn't know what to make of it at the time. I guess I'm good at that. Okay, cool.
Mm.
But then I was so deficient in every other areas, not every area, but other
Yeah.
areas. Like you don't talk enough, you don't speak up enough, and then that showed up in my first job. I was fired from my first job out of college after being told you're already defective. I'm fired from my first job out of college, and just I just was so crushing at the time. My dad, really gave me that encouragement. He says, you're going to be just fine. It's going to work out, and
Mm.
one of the things my dad always says is innovators always get punished. People who are
Mm.
truthful and innovative, you always will get punished. You'll get rewarded too, but like you're going to get punished on your path. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what happened to me too. When I would speak truth, when I show up, people would argue with me or not want to hear it, or I'm some kind of threat just by my presence, right?
Mm.
So I noticed that too, just being different. So anyway, all that added up to me really having a thirst to become fully empowered and doing what I came here to do, whatever that was. So I started working with the chronically mentally ill because I had a background in terms of people saying I was maybe, had issues. And so
Mm.
I would say, because I'm energy attuned, I'd be like, I could move objects, I could blow things up. Not that I was, but I could feel energy. I could feel like I could work with energy. I was all my childhood. I was playing around with things, right? And they just, oh, okay, you're bipolar, delusions of grandeur, let's give you some meds. And, so I said all that stuff back. I was a teenager, and then I just quit talking about it then, right? Then you just
Yeah.
put it in the closet, you put it away, and then those kids are shelved away. But as I came out and I continued to, do my work in the world, I was working with chronically mentally ill, just doing simple spiritual principles a lot of times with them on top of, normal therapy sorts of things.
Mm.
And then I did a variety of counseling jobs beyond that. But the more what I found was like even in that field, when I started showing up and loving myself and just being who I was in an environment that supported that,
Mm.
I thrived. Like I was hired away within a few months from the first job to another job that paid me way more. And
Mm.
so it's like you're not. So my part of my message to people is you're not defective. You just need to do your purpose. You need to be you. You need to love you. You need to be you fully, and that always works. But if you keep not being yourself, you keep showing up in environments that don't fit you, you're going to have run into. That's what I learned, and I was studying throughout that time, to some degree, a number of the motivational things and whatnot that we do, the Tony Robbins, the Les
Right.
Browns, the Brian Tracy's, et cetera, all the good ones, right?
Yeah.
So did all that, got into science of mind, studied that, and became a practitioner of that. So I was doing
Yeah.
prayer work for people, and a practitioner of science of mind, it's all about keeping your consciousness as clean and clear as possible, and then you show up in the community as that. So that was huge, a huge foundation for me. Then I got, it took me forever still to get into being online in the 2000s, doing my business to help people to, break free of their blocks. So I went by the Blockbuster for forever. Sometimes I still use it. And so I had a Blockbuster Your Path website, and I started my business there. I had a hard time making any money because of my own inner blocks. And so I had issues there, and I was too shy. Again, it was same issue, not assertive enough. And then finally something snapped inside of me, and then it's just like boom, I just started getting really assertive. And then I was honing my gifts too psychically. I learned how to tune into my gifts, utilize because I just feel like I could meld into any energy and become it. Like I could become Gloria right now if I want to, like almost like literally, like I step right in your energy field. Because energy is just energy. We make such a big deal. I am who I am, but it's just energy. I could just step into it. I in a sense, I'm connected with the energy in a way I'm almost am it now, right? So
Right.
I had this experience, but I was really ungrounded. My energy was flying all over. So I asked for grounding tools for my guidance. I got them, and the energy scan technique was born. And that became a huge thing because I became recognized for being able to tune into people, even in these deeper ways, much less just the normal ways that he was doing it, right? So I was doing that and helping people break free through the methods I used with clearing and coaching and whatnot on personal level. And then it delved into business and whatnot. And eventually it led to the Academy of Invincible Healers, where I trained, thousands of people really, and certified, at least 100 or two of people in energy scan healing. So the sort of thing I do, people usually don't think they could do it, but I proved again and again that absolutely everybody can do it. All you have to do is just trust, follow through, practice what I give you to do, use the technique, and most people are able to do it right away, but they don't even believe they can do it after they do it. Like they can do it. So from there, I just really was guided to let go of the academy in 2017. Your sacred purpose now. I'm standing for light leaders that want to embody the state of being of enlightenment and rock it out in the world from there. While, of course, being themselves, that all goes together, right? And using the greatest gifts and really allowing themselves to claim all the value and the money success, therefore, that's within that. I mean, really, money comes from owning your value and the exchange of value, right? So that's where money is happening. And when we're willing to own our full value, life works, like things work well. And there's nothing wrong with making whatever amount of money and trust yourself. The people are listening. You're heart-centered people. You're going to do good things with your money, I'm sure. You're going to do great things. You're going to give to people. You're going to give to your family. You're going to give to others. It's just about loving other people. It's loving yourself. It's about sharing your value in the world. And then to be able to utilize that energy and your dedication of your purpose for the highest benefit for yourself and everyone, because I know that's what your listeners want. So anyway, I don't know if that was a long answer, but I hopefully give people a clue.
Well, I appreciate that, and it's good because now we have more information about your background. Now, I want to go back to one thing you mentioned. You were talking about energy scanning. So, can you elaborate on what that is and why is it so vital for? Sounds like not only maybe healing practitioners, but maybe even everyone.
Yeah, it is. That's very perceptive of you. It is my mission ultimately to part of my longer term goals, mid-range and longer term goals, to reach as many people as I can to help them to learn to do energy scanning. I feel like every practitioner that helps people, like through coaching, therapy, et cetera, so many different things, healing, ought to have the tool of energy scanning. I mean, it's a foundational tool, and I maybe I'm a little extra good at it, maybe than maybe some people, but everyone can do it. Usually, when how to do it, everybody gets a similar testimonials to what mine would look like. Oh my God, I couldn't believe what you could come up with, and like all that sort of stuff. So that's definitely part of the path. It also is an awakener. You know, the more you learn to tune in and to download things, it does awaken you to that. Oh, we're all, we are all one, and and all that stuff. Everybody talks about 5D and beyond these days.
Yeah.
Spiritual. Well, you want to go to 5D and beyond, then learn energy scanning. That'll definitely take you into 5D and beyond. I mean, what you can connect with, what you can download from the higher realms, all that stuff. It's all there, and so it's just really more to me. It's more like people overall. I want to focus on service providers,
Mhm.
and then maybe beyond that, right? But it's like we can all be more of ourselves, and that's one huge way we can
Mm.
become more of ourselves that I'm called to share in the world. So yeah, it's a very, very foundational thing that we all can do. It should be just kind of a no-brainer, but we've been given the concept that it's not right, and probably by those that want us to, be more brainwashed and controlled, quite frankly. But that's my take on it. So that's my own take on it. But anyway,
All right. Well, you, I think probably one of all the different tools that you have. I imagine that meditation is also something that you're um, uh, either a believer in or practitioner of, and possibly even a teacher of that. So, um, how do you, number one, how do you incorporate meditation, maybe even in your own life and or your business?
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, one of the big things is meditation. Meditation is the kind of the cornerstone. So we have to take time to get centered and to actually take time to tune in.
Mm.
So maybe at some point in this show we'll talk more about it. But I have, like, at my website, I have actually a meditation to help people to tune in, and I have people saying they're growing their business just by listening to meditation every day. They say sometimes I listen twice a day. Because you have to tune in, and I ask questions within the meditation, but you want to ask questions and allow the answers to come in, and then to actually follow through on what you get. A lot of times, I'll confess, with the success even I've had, I have limited my success at times because I didn't listen deeply enough. I didn't
Mm.
fully listen enough. In other words, like, oh, I'm willing to listen, 50, 60% or whatever. And then I want to play around, go off center and do whatever I want, right? That's kind of the story of our lives. So
Mm.
we have to not only take the time to cultivate the practice of becoming still. Like, just when I do meditation, I focus. Most of my meditations are focused on stillness. Always first, I'm
Mhm.
focused on just focus on the stillness. You have thoughts, whatever, it doesn't matter. Keep focusing on the stillness, and then from that place you can start answering questions, and answers will come, or just you'll get a direction, and it'll take you in the direction you need to go. And eventually, like anything in life, as you keep tuning in for the answers, things are going to work themselves out.
Mm.
Hopefully sooner than later. You have less unnecessary suffering, maybe, but we have a path, and but we can just simply tune in and just ask for answers. What trips some people up is they don't. Sometimes people say, I ask questions, I don't hear anything. That's one of
Mm.
the common ones I get.
Mhm.
And I always say, what you need to do then in that case, if you feel like you're not hearing anything, is just imagine you are hearing an answer.
Mm.
Maybe imagine God or whatever you image, when you're tuning
Right.
in, the angels or whatever, like that they're speaking to you, and that you imagine that they are saying something to you, right? Because usually if you put people in a guided meditation with their guides and they say, okay, what are they saying to you? They hear something, right? Okay, now we have something. So just imagine that you see your guide right in front of you, or your God's right there with you, or whatever. Just imagine like you're getting an answer, and just make it up. And the truth is, like, it's accurate, it's true. You just be blown away by how true it is. And
Mm.
so that's foundational to tuning in overall. I mean, whether it's energy scanning or just basic intuition, but it's a basic thing. It's just to have the sense you're making up. And we are infinite beings, and we have so much wisdom that we just don't understand. And we make everything so hard. So when it's easier and it feels more made up and playful and all that, it'll work your life will work way better. We think it's got to be hard and it's got to be like this and like that. And we just create that for ourselves. I mean, sometimes I work a lot. Yeah, I can be a big slacker, by the way, but I'm also not a slacker. There's times when I'm so committed to something I'm working on that no matter what, I'm going to get that accomplished, and that creates huge shifts in our energy field. That's a huge thing to do. So that commitment, and then with the commitment too is more of the attunement and alignment with your truest intuition can happen too. It's been my experience. Like you get clearer signals, you get more. Like more is given to you, added on to you, right? Because you're listening to what you've been given already, right? Why am I going to give you, if you can't even handle $1? Why am I going to give you $1 million, right? You're not ready, like so that's kind of how that works. Anyway, I can go on and on.
I like that. Some people though, I know that I think they also get confused sometimes because they're like, well, how do I know that the voice I'm hearing in my head is really, has my best interests at heart? How do I know where it's really, or it's just maybe it's coming from fear or something?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. Well, again, if you just playfully kind of just make it up or have more of that good energy around it, those are signals that I would tend to trust. Okay, let me just put it that way. What I say is if it comes in, it feels kind of weird, if it got kind of a weird feeling to it, that's something to make note of. Some people believe, I'm not going to say they exist or not, but some people believe in dark energies and things like that are coming in and want to control you or take you in places where they keep you stuck or whatever, all that stuff. Yeah, yes and no. That's a whole nother story, a whole nother topic. But just listen to see if it really has a good energy in it. And if it has a good energy, it's going to tend to be true. Some people get really nitpicky. They're like, it could be good energy, but it's wrapped in some bullshit and all that. Yeah, that could be true. But yeah, for purpose of this show today, you just tend to trust, the good signal. The other thing is even if it's, good energy, but it's wrapped in some bullshit or whatever, it's like, honestly, if you really continue to just I always say, come back to the stillness. Like keep coming back to the stillness. Start letting go of all your ideas. Man, this is the greatest idea. I'm going to do this. This is what's going to make my $1 million or whatever it is, for the entrepreneurs out there. It's like, okay, maybe now let go of that idea. All right. Okay. And now, are you absolutely certain this seems true for you? Does it really seem true for you? No, I don't know. I think it's a really good idea. And like, okay, probably it's not the one. When it's really true, it's more unshakable. It's like it just seems true. I just can't even deny it. It seems so true. So that's one of the tests you can do. But a part of you is kind of saying, like, I don't really know about that. Leaning out, so feeling in your body. It's something to pay attention to. I mean, it could be that it's not totally true. Or maybe there's some limiting beliefs or stuff that's stored in your energy now. It's stored in your energy as energy now that needs to be addressed before you can move forward. So it can be different things, but that's how I'd answer that question.
I appreciate that. Now, since you refer to yourself, I guess, or I'm not sure, but it sounds like that you could call yourself a spiritual entrepreneur. So what is, and I know only if I'm asking this because I've met other spiritual entrepreneurs and people even in like, healing modalities. And I know that a lot of times they have trouble making money because they're so heart-centered that they don't believe in charging enough. They tend to want to give their stuff away. So what's the biggest problem you've ever faced in making money as a spiritual entrepreneur?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I went over it really fast.
Yeah.
So when I was first trying to get into the online space, again, I think it was kind of like with girls, again, when I was a teenager, I'm like, I don't want to, overpower anybody or, or in that case, I don't want to get, one thing leads to another and someone's pregnant, like I didn't want that to happen, like my sisters, right? so I just always like do no harm. I got so strong on that when I got especially into the online space. For some reason, as I went deeper into, I mean, it makes sense, right? But deeper in the spiritual realm of helping people, the more I was concerned about that.
Mm.
And so I would give away my services. I was doing my energy scans. I was doing this great work. And then at the end, I'd be like, you know, I, actually the essence of you is perfect. And we just, I'm just witnessing you as perfection. You're going to be fine. Yeah, everything's
Yeah.
great. But I could help you. Do you want to work with me? Like that's how it would go. Like more or less that's what I was doing. It was crazy. And people were like, because they want to be nice in return. They're like, oh, I'll think about it. Like, I think it's totally ridiculous. So then after that, when I started realizing what became true for me at that time, especially was uh, a few things. I mean, I'm probably going to break it down more than I usually do. Like I started realizing, okay, I have to tap into their pain.
Mm.
I have to actually see how things aren't going so well for them. Because I think as light workers and heart centered people, we just don't even want to see the pain in other people sometimes. We
Yeah.
want to say, like I did in a way, like, you're fine, you're great, you're wonderful. We don't need to do anything. And the truth is, there are things going on. As we
Mm.
tune in energy, there's something going on for them. And then we have to take a look at that and say, well, and then what problems is that creating for them in their life? And
Mm.
do they still want to have those issues in their life, or do they want to see a change? And
Right.
to do it in a compassion loving way, just be like, hey, I'd love to see these changes for you in your life.
Yeah.
Would you like to see these changes in your life?
Mm.
Yes, I would. Okay, great. I'm get into my 3 steps to yes, to transformation. So yes to transformation. Sorry about that. So but yeah, so we just take it, it's like step by step. And I didn't consciously create this system first. It's like you kind of discover something, you're like, oh, that's how I did that. So that's how I discovered. I was like, you just have to, you know tune into the pain. What are the issues? What's the potential too? What are the benefits?
Mm.
Presence those things with them. See if they want those things. Would you like, that? Would you like this? Would you like that? Yes, 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 yes. You kind of like you're stacking yeses. Or if there's a no, then okay, great. Fine. I mean, then that's where you are. That maybe that's where you want to be. I mean, I'm
Right.
not going to always try to, talk them out of it unless
Hmm.
it feels like it's appropriate.
Yeah.
And then, then talk about the services and then the investment and whatnot. So, but one of the things that happened to me, like I was having so much trouble landing people more than for like a session, for
Mm.
example, and wasn't doing too well with the finances. I really was bankrupt. I mean, I didn't
Mm.
declare bankruptcy, but like, I couldn't feed my family, et cetera, like it was crazy. It was crazy.
Mm.
So what I did was, I finally just, one day I just told the lady, I says, this is right for you. This is why you need it. I did all those things that I talked about. Time to go. Let's do it. And then she hesitated, and I saw her as my own voice reflecting back to me. She says, "But are you sure? Are you sure this is really good for me? Right? Really
Mm.
that." And then I just hesitated for 1 second, and then I was just like, absolutely. Now get out there, because I realized it's my own voice. Absolutely. Now get out the credit card. Let's do this right now. She says, yes. Okay, let's do it. All right. And then I thought I was so aggressive. And then she was like, oh, thanks for being supportive of me. You're such a gentle and beautiful soul. And like, thank you so much. And like, so like I had this beautiful person reflecting back to me. No, you're not being too aggressive. This is how we wanting you to be. Take a stand
Mhm.
for us. Just show up. And so that was the big breakthrough. And then that
Mm.
just kind of, helped me to get that snowball momentum going in my
Mm.
business. And eventually I was like, man, I'm doing well with this. I was around 6 figures. I'm like, I can help other people do that. And that's where I was able to climb my business into multi 6 figures. So
Mm.
anyway, so that's how it got started. And I just, and I had lots of concepts about money too. I didn't
Mm.
want to pay the government, so like, so let's keep the money a little lower. I don't agree with them. And I've just learned you have to embrace everything. You really do. You have to embrace, if you're a Republican, you need to embrace your Democrats. If you're a Democrat, you can't stand the far left, and you have to embrace the far left. If you think someone's Satan, you got to embrace Satan. I mean, in a way, people think that means you're saying we should have this horrible stuff. No, it just means you bringing it into the center of love, where there is no issue. There are no issues, and from that place, great things can happen in the world. And that's true with money too. When we demonize money, by what we see happening with money in the world, that's crazy. That's like looking at people in relationships and saying, "Boy, people have bad relationships. I don't think I'll be in a relationship. I think it should not have relationships. Like, let's have less relationships too." Like, it's ridiculous. It's just our concept of it. So, become from your heart. Let be heart centered. Yes, that's the right orientation. But say yes to the money. Let the money land in your heart. Maybe envision it landing in your heart. I do that in some of my meditations, and feel the money inside your heart, and just know that it's not about the money. It's about the love, the flow of the energy we want to happen through the money, and that's where we can experience greater things in the world. My spiritual guidance was really clear. We're meant to embrace money. Yes, the currency forms may change over time, but that doesn't matter. We're meant to embrace what is right now. It's the most basic spiritual teaching out there, right? Like, love what is. So we've got to love what is right now, and that will lead to evolution from there.
Awesome. I was going to ask, like, what is your best advice to offer someone? But I think you just shared it, so I don't even need to ask that question. So that was awesome. you were picking up on what I was going to ask. So that was good. I like that. I understand that I think you have a free offer possibly for our audience. Can you share a little bit about what that is and how people can get it?
Yes. People go to yoursacredpurpose.com. I have a free meditate and make money meditation. So from that place, you're able to, get your energies open. I go through the chakras briefly, but it opens up your energy, and it has you get connected with your guidance. If you like connecting with your angels and guides, it helps you with that as well. But it just gives you that space to be in a clear space and to be able to receive your guidance. Now, some people do say that most people have said, they give me feedback on the meditation and say, that's a little bit beyond just meditate, make money, because it's deep spiritual transmission. I may not talk that much about it, but people could feel it. They're like, wow, you're taking me somewhere really deep and connected. And it's really amazing in itself. And then, like I said, the feedback I'm getting from, well, the one person particularly just says, like, I keep listening to it, I keep making more money. And then months and months later, like, it's still happening, I'm still growing, I keep listening. Like, so it works, it'll work like so many things. If we work something, and really apply it fully, it'll work. But if it feels like a fit for you, if it seems true for you. But we're so busy sometimes just continuing to scatter our forces all over the place. We need more application. So, but anyway, the free meditate and make money meditation is about 18 minutes. It's not like super long. Go there, grab it, and enjoy. And there is an opportunity there too to reach out to me and to work with me also with an energy scan consultation, where I get to do my deep tuning in and assessing where you are. I did one with, just even as of yesterday, I did one with somebody, and he says, I feel like I need to take a month off of my life and just absorb everything you just gave me, because it can be that profound for people. They're just like, there's just so much that can come through for people.
Wow. Well, that was actually what I was going to ask you next is, so do you work primarily with people one-on-one, or do you have any group programs? How does your business look like in that respect?
Yeah, I used to have group programs like and whatnot, like with the certifications and stuff. I had coaches working on, coach healers working underneath me, supporting the structure. Right now, I'm working with people one-to-one, so it's an exciting time. People can work with me exclusively one-to-one, and I'm looking to work with people that are already established a little bit more so right now, and are up to big things. They're either already doing big things or they want to be up to big things. So I help them to create that energetic foundation to do it from a place that'll work for them, and people that are really wanting to do it from enlightened presence, from the deeper space within, and to learn to trust that, to let go of some of the other characters that can show up, like the victim or the inner pusher, or, like there's so many different, aspects. And I work with those different aspects with people with the energy work that I do. And then I do the intuitive business coaching to help get the structures right. Who's your client? Let's get your energy aligned with your client, your offer, with what your marketing would be, your sales process, what have you. Get everything energy aligned, and then with your life. I don't spend a lot of time on those aspects. Those seem to come into place with everything else I do anyway. But we spend put a little bit of attention to that as well. But work with people one-to-one in a deep way, and help them to rock their sacred purpose.
Well, I like that. And that actually leads me to one last question, is that I know for someone who started off as an introvert and didn't want to talk very much, that you also have a way that you are talking often, aren't you? I think you have a podcast that you host as well. Can you share a little bit about what that is? And because I'm all about, showcasing. So if you want to put in a plug for your podcast, this is your opportunity.
Sure. Yeah, I have a Spiritual Rockstar podcast, and we have just really wonderful, incredible guests. I've had top name people, people would know. Most people know anyway. One time I mentioned a few names of these big names. People are like, this one person, I don't know any of those people. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that. But James Twyman, who did the Moses Code, that's one thing he's known for, with the movie he did with a bunch of famous people in that movie. But anyway, he's done huge movements. Mark Allen, not a lot of people maybe know him, but he's a publisher of Eckhart Tolle. And I've had Marie Diamond on. She's the feng shui lady. She's been in a bunch of movies, including The Secret. Dr. Sue Morter, a lot of people know about her. So a lot of people, a lot of different people, from people that a lot of people know to people that a lot of people don't know yet, but are up and coming. They want to rock it big, and they have something amazing to share. So anyway, and they tend to give the insights on how this thing works, right? How do we come from that deeper presence and rock it out? But we address all different areas of your life, and we talk about business and everything. And we have beautiful conversations, just beautiful conversations where they're giving their expertise and wisdom, and I chime in with some of my own actually on my show. And this is kind of how we roll on there. And you get to see me do more energy. I actually do the energy scans on those shows too a little bit.
Okay.
So that's it. So Spiritual Rockstar podcast, you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, etc. Or you can go to yoursacredpurpose.com/blog and find it there. One last place I'll just mention is you can find it on YouTube and subscribe there. And those are the places you can find it.
All right. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to spend with us today, and shared a lot of awesome information. And I'm sure it will be of benefit to those listening, and especially make sure you all go to yoursacredpurpose.com. I will have that in the show notes in case you're not somewhere where you've got a pen handy, but take advantage of that offer, and because it sounds amazing and I want to check it out myself. So I think I will be doing that after we get done today. So thanks again, Daniel, for being with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Gloria, so much. Thank you for everyone that's listening.
Yeah, and I second that. Thank you all to my subscribers and folks watching on YouTube as well. I appreciate all of you. And until next time, I encourage you to go out and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.